everyone, it's Julia, and welcome to this week's project. I have found this wonderful pillow at the thrift store, and every time I find something like this that has little appliques in that can be cut out, I grab it. This one had some staining on it, and they had some tassels on the corners, and a couple were missing, but I knew I could do something with it, and I decided on making a couple of journal covers. And so I'm going to be creating two different journals out of these little birds. I'm just doing some fussy cutting. I love this Tim Holtz scissor for this. Everything I use will be listed down below, so you'll have a list of products down below. But I found this wonderful fabric that matched those birds, so I'm going to be using that as my background. I'm using the Peltex double-sided stabilizer for this, and this is a very stable stabilizer. It's stiff, but wonderful for books, but you can't iron it from the pebbly side or you're going to have a mess. And so I always make sure to iron from the fabric side, and I'm just cutting around this piece now. This is going to make a standard size journal, and so my Peltex is cut at 8.5 by 9.5, and the booklet itself is going to be about 8.5 tall by 4.75 wide. Just showing you how I'm rounding the corners on this other piece here, just using a top off my bottle of water. And I'm using some Heat and Bond Light to attach to the back of some of this pillow fabric. I knew I needed something so those birds would pop off that fabric a little because they blended in so well. So I'm just trimming that up and getting it nice and even. I'm using the Quilter's Cut and Press by June Taylor board for this, and I love this for my craft room because I can flip it to my cutting side or flip it to my pressing side, and it's just a wonderful little gadget. Just ironing this into place now, and I decided on using some ribbon or lace, excuse me, just to tie or to finish off that, and I just stitched that on, that lace on. Now I'm just laying my birds on and just deciding what I like. This one took a little bit longer. I couldn't quite decide how to lay these birds on. But this is the fun part of this project, is just designing it the way you like it. And I decided I really liked the two birds looking at each other. I'm still doing some more fiddling here, and I think this is the one I decided on. And one bird left over. Now on to free motioning. I'm just going to run some stitches over these birds just to get this in place. And these birds have tufts and pom-poms and tons of texture. So the free motion is working really well for this. Now my feed dogs are down and I have my free motion foot on, so I'm doing all the movement on this and just going around this bird. I want to make a note that this is sped up 8 times. So when you're doing free motion, it is not this fast. But just for the sake of the video, I do speed it up. And here, this bird has these pom-poms on it that I managed to catch under my feed dogs right there. But then I just clipped it and just started over. It's not a big deal. Onto these tassels, I knew I wanted to use them as bookmarks. And so I found this ribbon, and I'm just sewing those on in place. Just tacking that, you'll see it there. Then I'm adding some buttons on using these garment pins or bulb pins, I believe. I'll link those down below too. I use these on so many projects. It's such a quick way to add just a little added detail. And my little bookmark is finished now. I'm just going to tack that on the top. And it's on to the lining in the pocket of this little book. I cut that lining piece the same as that outer cover. And then the pocket is cut an inch shorter. And I iron that pocket so the fold side is up, place it on the bottom, and then put my right sides together. Just as slick and easy as that. I'm using my Wonder Clips for this, just to clip everything into place. And I leave an opening, I'm marking it there, but I leave an opening at the bottom where I do not sew. And when I sew this, I use a shorter stitch because I want it to be quite durable. And make sure to go back and forth on starting and stopping. Always clipping my corners using my pinking shears. I do not clip the area of my opening, however. I leave that the wider width. And you can see that later more when I'm doing the final ironing on this. This Peltex is hard to turn, but you just get your fingers in there and get it done. And if it lifts, it's okay, because you can iron it back down again. And now you can see where I'm folding that opening and getting that pressed into place. That opening will automatically be closed now because I do top stitch this. And do top stitch all the way around. And closing up that center. And then I also run a line down the center of the pocket. On to punching my holes. I do mark a hole in the center using my just my water-soluble pen. And then two holes, two on each side, one a ½ inch in and one an inch in. I'm using my crocodile to poke those holes. And I use the 3/16 hole in the center, and then the other holes I poke at the 1/8 inch. And then it's on to putting my grommet in, and I use a 3/16 inch grommet for this. This is my favorite size for this center hole. And just using my little tool to attach it. You can use your crocodile to attach eyelets and grommets, but I have not had good luck with it. I really prefer my little tool. It's just really easy and quick, and just give one whack with the hammer and it's in. Now these little holes that I have, I don't put eyelets in there, but you certainly can. I just stitch around those holes using free motion stitching and removing my water-soluble pen there. And then it's on to the elastic. And I do use a 2mm elastic, and this is in the color Natural. I cut about a yard of it and stick it through that middle hole first, and then tie a knot where I know I can close it. And then it's a matter of threading it through the smaller holes. This is going to hold one insert, so we're going to have one band. But there are ways of piggybacking your inserts, so you can do easily three inserts with this one band. And that is finished. I'm going to show you next just some of the papers and how I do my inserts. This is all just an undecorated, a variety of pages, ledger paper, some pattern paper, tea-dyed, just a variety of pages. And you find the center, and I again use my clips. And again mark the center, an inch down from the top, and then in the middle. So you have a series of 5 little dots. And I again use my crocodile on the 1/8 inch and poke those holes. Notice that circle on that. When I tea-dye my paper, I like to lay paper doilies on them when I bake them in the oven, and that will imprint that beautiful design of a paper doily. I'm using just the baker's twine on this, and with a needle, I thread it from the middle and hold on to that tail. And at this point, everything is flying because I have such a messy table. I keep kind of watching the back side just to make sure everything is pulled tight. This is a really easy pamphlet stitch on how to join these pages together. And then the last, go back up in the middle and then tie your knot. Finding the center of my little book now and then just placing it in my book cover. And that is it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I did include a couple pictures, so enjoy those, and I hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.